Hi, my name is Kevin Ye. I'm the current country chair of MDRT, South Africa. And I'm interviewing 40 financial advisors who are MDRT members to be on this program and to share their experience, their life, and their tips. Today, I have the privilege of interviewing SUBASH. And I've known SUBASH for a few years. It's actually also through MDRT community, I got to know him. And in 2018, we actually attended the MDRT annual meeting in Los Angeles together, and we shared a hotel room. And 2019, we went to the MDRT Global Conference in Sydney, and it was a beautiful experience and memory. And my wife and I, together with SUBASH, we had a dinner at a Nepalese restaurant, SUBASH, and that was an unforgettable experience for us. And thank you for being with us today. And as we kick off this series, this is the inaugural episode of MDRT South Africa Advisors Speak. So SUBASH, how are you doing?
I'm well, thank you, Kevin.
SUBASH, I'd just like to first ask you, what does your name mean?
My name means beauty and success. That's the Hindi meaning, and that's the name I was given by my father.
Wow, beautiful name. And your surname, how do you pronounce your surname?
The surname is rather simple. If you pronounce it in terms of, the English language, It's pronounced as Chatrooghooon.
Chatrooghooon.
Yes.
Okay, and does it mean anything?
No, unfortunately, I'm one of the 6th generation surname holders, and we've lost the meaning of that along the way.
Okay, all right. Thank you. So SUBASH, as we kick off this, I'd like to ask you to get the audience to get to know more about you. So who are you?
Yeah.
Where did you grow up? What did you study?
Thank you, Kevin. I grew up in the small town of Verlin on the north coast of South Africa. Yeah. From a family of 3 children, education was a priority for my siblings and myself. During my teenage years, my father passed away.
Oh.
He resigned from his formal employment and decided to start a business. And within the first few months of starting his business, his then advisor recommended that he takes out life insurance. And one of the evenings, the financial advisor came home, and over a cup of tea, my dad agreed to sign up for a life insurance policy. The policy was issued, and within 6 months, my father died of a heart attack whilst in hospital.
Wow.
A few weeks went by when the financial advisor came to visit my mum and us. I was only 16 years old at that time. And the financial advisor told my mum that my dad had a life insurance policy. My mum, being a housewife, had no idea how these things worked. The financial advisor guided my mum and assisted with the claims process.
Yeah.
My dad, after paying just 6 premiums, ensured that in the event of his death, my siblings, my mum, and myself could live the lives that we were accustomed to.
Wow. Yeah.
It ensured that we had the best education for myself and my siblings. Today, I am a financial advisor. My career started as an accountant for one of the listed companies in Johannesburg. After 6 years of being an accountant, I became bored.
Okay.
I was looking for something challenging. And one of my managers had then joined the life insurance company, Liberty Life, which is one of the leading financial houses in South Africa.
Yeah.
He shared with me his journey as a financial advisor and it looked extremely appealing to me. I decided it's time for a career change. I did some research and decided this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
After the initial training program, I graduated from the Liberty Academy as a financial advisor.
Yeah.
That's how I entered the industry. And
how long was that academy program?
The program back then was over a period of 6 months. It was a 1-month comprehensive training program, which was run full-time. And then every second week, we had to attend night classes so that we could educate ourselves on a financial planning practice.
So that was quite a commitment during that period of time where, during the day you had to do your work, and then in the evening you actually on training and further yourself to learn how to become a financial advisor.
Yes, it certainly built up the momentum and equipped us to hit the road running when we joined, the financial house as a full-time financial advisor.
And does Liberty still have such program today?
Yes, over the years, the programs have evolved and they've become more effective, and they've tweaked it to ensure that when one enters the industry, they have all the equipment and the tools to deliver first-class financial planning advice and recommendations.
So how long have you been a financial advisor?
I've been a financial advisor for 20 years.
That's a long time. And who are your target markets? Who do you...
My target markets, yes, they are individuals in professional practice and individuals who work for corporate companies. I also do business with other businessmen in various spheres of business.
So given your experience, and you have so many years of in the industry, what's your secret as a successful financial advisor?
Kevin, it's absolutely no secret. When I joined the industry, they equipped us with various tools to prospecting and how to be closing business, etc. And when I started out, I was looking for an easy way out. I tried various prospecting models and programs that I purchased online, etc. And all of them failed me. Coming from an introverted background, I had difficulties dealing with people. One of the highlights was that I had to change from being an introvert to being a people's person. My prospects came by word of mouth. Today, when I meet with clients, I always ask for referrals. And that was my greatest challenge when I joined the industry.
Okay. So how do you go about asking for referrals?
It's simple. I always say that one cannot reinvent the wheel. It's about going back to basics. And one of the first things I learned during my initial training program was an acronym STP, which is See the People. And that is the success, and that is the reason for my success today. So, I speak about going back to basics. It's about seeing the people. And that's what brought me to where I am today in my practice.
And share with us a client story that stuck with you over the years.
Kevin, I always take you back to, when I started out in the business. And I wrote an article in one of the MDRT publications for a similar question. Unfortunately, my answer hasn't changed.
Okay.
One of my first clients was a businessman. And when I say first, he was my first client and he's still my client today.
Wow.
We were trained to dress the part from the professionalism and have all the tools to deliver world-class financial advice. I arranged an appointment to meet with Mr. Client, and I showed up at his factory and spoke to the receptionist, and she said, take a seat. And a few minutes later, a shabbily dressed gentleman comes over and introduces himself as Mr. Client. My heart sank.
Okay.
I wanted to deal with individuals in boardrooms and with world-class offices, etc. This Mr. Client looked more like one of the laborers in this business than the owner of the business.
Yeah.
Anyway, with a positive mindset, I decided, let me give it my best and let me use this as an exercise to practice my selling and advice skills with this individual. I was in absolute awe to learn that this individual, who's shabbily dressed, whom I judged, was actually a multi-millionaire and owned various businesses. The lesson I took from that is that one should not judge a book by its cover.
Yeah. No, I think that's a very powerful lesson, because I think that many times a lot of people would judge a person by his or her look, but many times will surprise you. I've heard of story where you see a casually dressed person walk into a Mercedes dealership, and the salesman just ignore that person, but it turned out he's got money to buy.
Yes. Yeah, so that's the lesson that stuck with me throughout my career as a financial planner.
How did you get to know about MDRT?
One of the key lessons I learned that within our industry, it is important to have a mentor. And within our company, there are various successful advisors. And I was always yearning to learn more to be a successful financial planner. Many years ago, I actually picked up the phone and phoned Cobus Klein, who is one of the leading financial planners in South Africa, and requested a few minutes of his time to discuss his recipe for success within our industry. He afforded me the opportunity, and I met with him at his offices. He shared his words of wisdom and advised me on the benefits of becoming an MDRT member. Coming from one of the most successful and leading financial planners in South Africa, I immediately subscribed to the MDRT, and that's where my MDRT journey started.
Which year was that?
It was, I think, in 2014.
Okay. And what has been your involvement with MDRT?
As an initial junior member and an ordinary MDRT member, that was within my first year. It was an experience like no other, and I sat there in absolute awe watching the annual conference. And I walked away feeling very inspired and wanted to make changes from the knowledge I gained at the annual conference. The second year, I qualified as a top of the table member, and I was advised on the benefits of volunteering on the various platforms that MDRT offers. And I immediately signed up to be an MDRT volunteer. And I've done so since that year.
So how has MDRT changed your way of advising or interacting with people and your career?
The MDRT has various speakers, and resources to help an individual build and maintain a successful financial planning practice. From the work-life balance to meeting new clients and new ways of prospecting to take your practice to where you want. The MDRT has it all. It is a fountain of knowledge and experience from individuals around the globe.
Thank you. I've been an MDRT member since 2016, so you are my senior. But I just find that the years I've spent with MDRT, the lessons I've learned, people I've met across the globe, it's phenomenal. Subhash, you know that all of us have gone through life challenges. What has been your biggest challenge in your life, and how did you overcome or go through it?
One of the major challenges in my life was, as I mentioned, prospecting and building my financial planning practice. As I mentioned, going back to basics is what's gotten me where I am. And, you know, in my initial years, I often questioned myself, did I make the right decision in joining the financial services industry? And when I look back, I would do it again.
Things, maybe technology or the environment have changed, but I think the need for having a good financial advisor, having good financial advice is still of paramount importance. Now, one of my quick-fire questions. Are you a sports person, gardening person, or you're an outdoor person? What's your, if you're someone to say, who is Subhash, what type of person are you?
Yes, you know, I like playing golf, and I have an 11-year-old son who keeps me busy. Golf started out as, you know, my pastime and hobby, whichever you want to call it. Yeah. And within a few months, my son stole the limelight, and now I'm busy driving him to golf lessons.
Oh, wow.
And recently, the lockdown, you know, we had to be social distancing, etc. And his newfound passion is fishing for trout. So that's something that we've been doing throughout the lockdown in South Africa. And, you know, beyond that, I love gardening. I maintain my own garden, and I have a wonderful rose bushes that's, you know, beginning to spring with spring.
Yeah. Okay. It sounds like I need to get some gardening tips from you.
Yes.
If there's one financial advice or life lesson you'd like to share with the viewers, what would it be?
Yes, you know, one of the challenges that I mentioned was prospecting. And for me, it is going back to basics. I tried to reinvent the wheel when I started out in this industry. And I learned very quickly that the wheel is round. And regardless of the various prospecting methods, etc., I failed dismally. Another important thing is that I consider myself in the business of building relationships and the highest quality of trust and education.
So if there's a financial advice you'd like to give to the general public out there,
yes,
what would it be?
Kevin, there are a few things that individuals need to consider. Firstly, the Financial Planning Institute of South Africa is a body that governs or regulates us as financial advisors and financial planners. It is important that the individual planner you choose to work with is accredited, and the gold standard of financial planners in South Africa is having a postgraduate qualification in financial planning. That qualification endorses the individual who has the highest level of education to practice as a financial planner in South Africa. From an individual or client's perspective, the 6-step financial planning process is what you should follow. One of the important things is to ensure that you have adequate risk cover depending on your personal circumstances. Then it is looking at savings and investments. In my book, savings and investments are two very different things. We often speak about having 3 months' income saved as an emergency fund. That has now gone, and some individuals advise that we should actually have 6 to 9 to even a year's income as an emergency fund. Once that has been sorted, an individual can look at investing money. And investments is also a very tricky path. It depends on the individual's income, tax status, and appetite for risk. And with all that said, we got to address the individual's needs and future financial goals.
Great, thank you. Subhash, I have 3 more quick-fire questions before I let you go.
Okay, I'll be quick.
First one, what's your favorite drink?
Diet Coke.
When are you most productive? Morning, evening?
Yes. In our line of business, I think productivity is a constant. But I am most productive in the morning when, before 8 o'clock, my phone doesn't ring. And when the clock strikes 8, I know my phone's going to go off the rail. But I prefer the mornings.
Okay, great. What's something new happening in your life right now?
Something new has been the online platforms during the lockdown that we have to engage with our clients. I am very much a people's person, and having to convert to the online systems and platforms to do business was a challenge.
Sure.
And when lockdown started, I didn't have a choice. I had to adapt, and it's worked out well for me and my clients.
So which software do you use? Do you use Zoom, Microsoft Teams? Is there something used by Liberty?
My preferred online platforms are Zoom and Microsoft Teams.
Subhash, thanks very much for your time. And if anyone would like to get hold of you, how do they reach you?
Yes, I am available on various online platforms. If you Google SUBASH CHATROOGHOON, my details, contact details, etc., is available.
Let's give it to Subhash. And until next time, have a good day. Bye.
Thank you, Kevin.